So I was having a conversation with God this morning, and by that I mean I was praying. And this thought came to me. If you had $1 million worth of debt, it's $1 million, right? That's a lot of money. It's definitely nothing that I've ever seen. You had nowhere to pay it. Like, you're working as hard as you can. You're putting in your 8 hours every day, 5 days a week, and then you've got like a gig on the side as well, trying to pay the debt off. But you can't budge that number. You can't budge the million. What would you do if someone comes up to you and says, I heard you had a debt of $1 million. No questions asked. Here's the money. Your debt has been paid. All you have to do is accept the money. Now, of course, you might have some questions, but you're going to take the money, aren't you? And then you're going to pay the debt off, and you're going to celebrate and rejoice, and it's going to be an exciting time. But then the question came to me, what if instead of $1 million, it was, say, $100,000? So still a large sum, but not as big as the million. And the person comes up to you and says, here's $100,000. Take the money. Your debt is covered. You just have to accept the money. You just have to accept the gift. Again, you might have questions, but ultimately you're going to take the money and pay the debt off. And there's going to be the celebrating and the joy and all that again. And then I kept going down different increments. $1,000, $100, $10. Because it doesn't matter how big the debt is. If someone comes to you and says, I know you can't pay this off, so here's the money, all you have to do is accept it, and your debt's wiped clean. You're still going to celebrate. See, for someone who has a debt of $10, that is still a debt. That is still going to weigh on them until they can pay it off. And it doesn't matter how much they try, if they can't pay it off, having someone else to come in and say, here's the money, your debt is paid, you just need to accept it. You're going to take the money. But what if it wasn't about the money? What if instead it was about sin? And look, I know in the Bible it says that all sin is sin. God sees it all in the same way. But in our human eyes, we put them into categories of like, that's a big sin, that's a little sin. And you might think, okay, like I've never killed someone. I've never done anything like that. But you might have lied. You might have cheated on a test. You might have done something wrong. You still have sinned at some point in your life. And don't worry, like, no judgment. I'm a sinner too. The thing is, right, Jesus is like the guy who comes up to us and says, here's the $1 million. Here's the $10. I know you can't pay this yourself. You just have to accept the gift. And the debt's wiped clean. And it's the same for us with Jesus and sin. See, it doesn't matter how much we try. It doesn't matter how much we work, how much we try and pay these debts off. We can't do that ourselves. But Jesus comes to us and says, I know you can't pay the price of sin. I've paid it for you. Here is the cost. Here is the price. All you have to do is accept this gift. And your debt's wiped clean. And not only that, you then get to come into a full relationship with me, with my Father, with the Holy Spirit. And when you die, you get to come and live with me in paradise, in heaven, forever. Now, the thing is, right, that can feel like it's too good to be true. We can think, oh, I've gone too much into debt. I've sinned too much. Not for Jesus. See, for Jesus, when he died on the cross for us, when he conquered sin and death, he conquered it all. All our debts were wiped away. All we have to do now is accept the gift that he's offering us. Well, I hope that encourages you. God bless.